Hello guys, my name is Remig, and in today's video we are going to talk about unit testing and especially mocking in .NET. So the way of configuring the external dependencies that you have in your class to properly unit test the methods that actually are using those dependencies. So as you see on the screen, it will be the real world scenario of the login async method that has, as you see, account repository, and we have to somehow set up in unit test what will be the result of this user. We'll have this password is valid also that comes from the string hasher, and the string hasher is over there. So this video will just give you the brief introduction of actually unit testing the methods, not like the add or subtract in the calculator class that you can see in the web, but like the real world scenario, how to unit test those kind of the real methods, let's say. So if you like this video, then please hit the subscribe button, give me the like, write the comment, and now we are going straight into the video. Okay guys, so the first thing to do is to create the unit test project with the xUnit type, to choose your framework and just having the create. So we'll just have the project name called mock video.application.tests. I will create that. And we'll have the first unit test 1, so just remove it. And as you see, I would like to unit test this account service, so this login async method. So I will just create the new class called account service test. And we have to install the nugget called mock in that project. So I will just install it here. Okay, now we have to go into our account service class to make sure what kind of dependencies we'll mock. We'll just have some fake scenario when we will access the method from this dependency, what we'll have in our unit test, just to have all like the whole flow in our unit test actually tested. So in account service, as you see, I have those 6 dependencies in my account service injected via the dependency injection. So I have all of those 6 here, and I would like to have also all of those 6 in my unit test class. So the way of creating those fake, let's say, dependency scenarios is just to create the private read-only mock from this nugget. So we'll have just to import missing references in the file. And as I remember, it was string hasher mock. And as you see, for sure, I'll just need to have, the reference to my domain project, and I'll do the same for the rest of those mocks. So I'll just have to import everything, and the last thing will be actually to create our account service class. So it will not be the mock, but it will be the normal account service class. So private read-only account service and I'll have just to import the mock video.application layer here. And now we have to also initialize all of those dependencies in our constructor of the account service test class. So I'll just import them here. And now, just to create the one instance of the account service, you need to do this in this manner. So account service equals new account service. And as you see, it requires from us the string hasher, iToken generator, and so on and so forth. But we have already all of those created here, but we have to pass not like the mock, but we have to pass the mock dot object and do this for all of our dependencies. Okay guys, now we'll create our first unit test and I will show you why we actually need to mock all of those dependencies. So I'll write the fact and now the first unit test. So we are unit testing the login async method. So it will be public async task. So the first will be the name of the method. So login async underscore, and like the first scenario will be that the password will be not valid. So we will have the login failed exception based on what is in the implementation of this method. So login async, password is invalid, and login failed exception is thrown. Okay, and as you see, I have written the arrange, act, and assert, so those 3 A's in the unit testing. So this is the good practice to have those separations between the parts of the unit test. So in the arrange, we'll have the request and also those setups for the mocks. In act will be the actual call to the method that we have defined over there in the unit test, and also the asserts will be just to will be the part of the verification of those mocks, if those mocks were actually invoked or not, and what we retrieved from this method in the act part. So I'll just create login request because this is what we are giving to our login async method. So I'll just write some kind of the email abc email.com, and the password will be abc. Okay, in the act we'll use our account service login async. Will provide login request, and this login async is retrieving the user DTO. So user DTO here, assert, and will not complete this unit test yet. I'll just run and I will show you why we need to mock those dependencies. So I'll just have the debug and I'll have the breakpoint here. As you see, the user is actually null because here we didn't have any result from this account repository get email by async method. So we need to set up the scenario that from the account repository get by email async based on our login request abcemail.com will have the user that then will be returned from this method. So I will just stop here. And we have to set up the account repository. So account repository mock setup, and as you remember, it was the get by email async method, and we are giving the login request email, and we'll write returns async and we have to type user new user from our domain models and this user will have email that will be the same as the login request. Email. First name will be first name. Last name, last name. Hash password will be hash. Refresh token will be refresh token. And refresh token expiration date will be, let's say, the mean value of the datetime offset. ID will be 1. And this account repository mock from the setup get email by async will return for us the user that we have just arranged. And now, as we'll go here, so we have this dependency actually covered. So it will return for us the user. Next thing to do, we have the string hashes match. So from this user, it will return for us the true or false. So we have to go here and set up also this dependency. So string hasher mock setup as well, hashes match, and we have the hash and also the provided password. So the provided password was here in the login request, and in the user we will have this hash over here. So hashes match, and it will be the hash. So user dot hash password and login request password. As you see, it will not be correct and returns false. It returns false. Now we have to modify our act statement. So as we know, this login async method are returning for us the user DTO in the OK scenario. If it will be the exception, so as you see, we will return false, as we just now discussed, it has to return for us the exception, not the user DTO. So we have to include this in our act statement. So we have to change this to var act, then have the lambda expression, and remove this await from here. And in the assert, we'll just write assert throws async and the type of exception, so the login failed exception. I will just type also the await over here, and we'll pass this act, so this func from the task. And now we have to check if our test will be passed. As you see, we have the success. So from our unit test, once we have set up this account repository, it was fetched. The user string hasher mock from the setup gave us the false, and the false means actually that it will be thrown, and we have our unit test properly done. In our unit test, we can also add the information about if those account repository and also the string hasher was used and the other dependencies were actually not used, because the code thrown for us the exception not at the end of the method, but actually in the middle of that method. So we can write also those verifications here. So the first one was account repository mock, and we have to give the verify, and the verify that this get by email async method, and we've provided login request email, times once. So it was invoked once. And we have to do the same for the rest of our dependencies. And as you see, I have those two verified, so it should be once invoked and this string hasher as well. We'll run this unit test once again just to double check if we have still the success. Yeah, we have. And just for the verification, we'll only check here, it should be for all of those dependencies, but we'll check for the token generator if it was invoked, this method, and we expect that it will be times never, so it was not invoked. So I'll just run once again the same unit test just to double check. Yeah, we have the success. It was not invoked at all. All right, so the test that is left for us, so it's the OK scenario from the login async method. So we'll just have to set up also those two methods in our mock and return the user DTO. So I will just go back to account service test class, and as you see, we have the login request, the user, and also the account repository mock setup that will be shared between those two unit tests. So just to reduce the amount of code that we have in our unit test, the good practice is just to take everything and set up in the constructor so it will be shared between the tests. So I will do it just now. So it will be the private read-only login request. And this login request will be created here. So I'll take this code, login request equals this, also the user. So we'll just create private read-only user. We'll do the same. User equals new user. Login request email. And also this setup will be shared. Login request email returns async the user. So as you see, the code is much cleaner now. We have just to add those underscores everywhere. We'll check if our unit test still has the success. Okay, everything is clear. And now we have to create another unit test. So the fact public async task login async all data is correct, user DTO returned. Arrange act assert. We don't have to set up once again the account repository because it's already done. So the string hasher setup we have to do because now it will be not false result, so it will not be the exception, but it will be true. So we'll go just further, and we have to go to our login async method and see what is actually going on. It will generate for us the JWT token and also the refresh token. So as you see in the user itself, we have this refresh token, and the JWT token will be generated from our token generator. So we have to go to our unit test and set up the token generator now. So token generator mock setup lambda expression, and yes, so generate JWT token, and we have to pass the user, and it will returns for us, let's say, token JWT. Now from the token generator mock will be set up, and generate refresh token returns for us the refresh token. So we have to create this token. So for refresh token equals new refresh token from the domain, and it was this string token, so it will be token equals user refresh token, datetime token expiration date will be the user dot refresh token expiration date, and it will be returned for us from this method. So refresh token goes here. All right, we have to go to our login async method once again just to check if we have everything covered. Yes, all of those two were already covered, exception as well. JWT refresh token we have just set up. The assign refresh token, yeah, this is the await account repository update async, so just to assign the refresh token to our user. So we have to verify this if it was invoked or not. I'll just copy this user DTO return statement to our test just to have the reference what actually we required to get from this method. So we will arrange expected user DTO. It will be the new user DTO, and it has to be the user first name plus this plus user last name. The next thing is the user ID, so user.id access token, so the token JWT, and also the refresh token, but only the token itself. So I will just copy this out under the refresh token just to have this as the reference. So the refresh token dot token, so expected user DTO, like the same. So I will just remove that, and we have to type var user DTO account service login async login request, and we have to await because this is the synchronous method, and we have to check assert equal that our user DTO from the method is the same as the expected user DTO. If it will be equal, so then our unit test is properly done. As you see, we have the success, so the expected user DTO is completely same as the user DTO that was retrieved from this login async method. So as before, we have to verify the token generator and also the other dependencies, how many times they were invoked. So account repository string hasher, they were times once token generator. Now it was not the times never as before, but it was times once and times once as well. It was this generate JWT, and it was invoked with the commonly used user, so times once, and as you remember, also this account repository mock, we have to verify if it was invoked, so update async user if it was times once, and we have forgot about setting up also this call, so account repository mock setup that this update async this user returns user returns task completed task. So it was actually done. Update async didn't return for us anything times once, and we'll just have the breakpoint here just to see everything. I will go to the unit test debug and we'll see how it went. As you see, we have the login request. Then we got the user with all the data. Password was valid. JWT token JWT was created. Refresh token as well was created. It was assigned. User DTO was returned, and we have the success. Okay guys, so that's everything for today's video. I hope that you liked the way that it was described, so how to mock, how to unit test your .NET applications that have the external dependencies. If it was very helpful for you, then please don't forget to subscribe this channel, to write the comment, give me the like, and see you in the next video.